Hi, this is Jamie Arenthal. Welcome to your Zoom vinyasa class. Please remember to use props. You've got blocks, straps, chairs, whatever you need to help you achieve the poses without twisting yourself into a pretzel. Make the poses fit you, not the other way around. Here we go. So beginning in a seated position, cross-legged, if that's comfortable for you. This is called Sukhasana. Sukha meaning with ease. So if this is not easy for you, change it. Yeah, that could even mean sitting in a chair if you are so inclined. If you are seated flat on the floor, reach under and move your buttocks out and behind you so that your sit bones make contact with your mat. And then sit up nice and tall, stacking one vertebra over the next, and gently tuck your chin in, just so that you can bring your jawline level to the floor, no wrinkles in the back of your neck. Breathing in through your nose and breathing out through your nose. Go ahead and close your eyes. Bring your awareness inside. Imagine that you can see the breath as you breathe in through your nostrils, and watch the path of the breath as it moves up through your nasal passageways, past your throat, into your lungs. And if you're breathing deeply, all the way down into your belly. And then notice that air, see if you can imagine it as you exhale, first from the belly, then the rib cage and lungs, passing the throat, through the nasal passages, and out through the nostrils. Continue this visual breath. Sitting up nice and tall, using the inhalation to elongate, to extend, to expand. Using the exhalation to ground, to deepen, to contract or narrow. After a few more of these visual breaths, return to your normal breath, still breathing in through your nose and out through your nose. And just notice if anything's changed for you. If you feel settled in, if you feel that you've arrived at your yoga practice. And then keeping your eyes closed, bring your hands together in a prayer at your heart center. Nestle your thumbs up against your heart. And this hand position is called Anjali Mudra. And a mudra is simply a gesture. And these hand gestures help to inform our feelings, our thoughts, and our intention. So take a moment to set your intention for your yoga practice today. If nothing comes to mind, you can use ahimsa, the Sanskrit word for nonviolence, but it really means self-compassion, understanding, nurturing. I think of ahimsa and a practice of ahimsa being my own best friend. Instead of having that critical voice, let's remind ourselves to praise ourselves, to appreciate what we can do, not punish us for what we can't do. Go ahead and float your eyes open. Inhale your prayer hands up to the sky. And as you exhale, ground those right fingers to the mat and take a bow over to that right side. So I'll try and mirror you. You can let that elbow go. You can let your head go, ear towards shoulder. And then as you inhale, raise those arms up, palms together. Exhale, centering breath at your heart. Other side, deep breath in, raise your prayer. This time, left fingers anchor and bow to the left. You can let that elbow bend. You can let that left ear come to the left shoulder. And then inhale to rise up. Exhale, centering breath at your heart. We'll repeat that with a variation. So deep breath in, bow to the right, and go ahead. If you feel comfortable, you can slide those right fingers away. Just notice if that left hip wants to lift up from the floor. See if you can ground the left hip back down. And if you want more sensation, extend that left elbow long, straight arm. Good. And then inhale, prayer to center with your exhale. Last time, reach up, inhale, and bow to the left. Again, same things hold true here. If you want to make it more deeper, you can walk those fingers away. And for more sensation, straighten that elbow, but glue the right hip down. And then inhale, coming back to center, palms join. Exhale, centering breath to your heart. We'll take a twist here. Keep in mind, if you experience any back pain at all, you're modifying. You're just going to do this moderately, not pushing to the end. Yeah. Inhale, separate hands, spin to your right, anchor, left finger on right knee. Right hand goes behind you and sit up nice and tall. Lengthen your spine, tuck your chin gently, and swivel your gaze to the back of the room. You could shrug that right shoulder behind you, right? So you're opening up through the collarbones, spinning the heart toward the back of the room. And maybe even if you want to make it more intense, pull the belly button in gently and see if that helps you to spin a little more. Coming back to center, inhale, arms up, prayer hands to heart center. Deep breath in, separate your hands, swivel to your left. This time your right hand on left knee, left hand behind you, and tuck your chin and gently swivel your gaze to the back of the room. Again, to make it deeper, exhale, pull your belly button in, shrug the shoulder behind you, opening through the collarbones, and rotate further. Inhale, come center. Exhale, prayer to heart. One more time each side. Deep breath in, spin to the right, rotate your gaze to the back, and then inhaling center and hands to heart. Here we go, one more. Swivel to your left, gaze to the back. Inhaling center and exhaling to your heart. Now for little cat-cow. So remove any blocks you have, hands under shoulders, knees are hip width apart. We're going to start with the exhale, tuck your tailbone, tuck your chin to chest, and roll up to cat pose. As you inhale, reverse the direction, tailbone up, eyes up, and you could, if you want, curl those toes. So this is cow pose. Exhale to cat. Inhale to cow. And just continue just like this at your own pace, matching the inhale to the cow pose, matching your exhale to the cat pose, keeping in mind that that inhale is to extend. So spinal extension is that arch in your back, and exhale to contract or deepen, and that's the spinal flexion. One more time, each direction. And then coming back to center, flat back, tabletop. spinal balance. So extend the left leg behind you, and you could keep the toes down for now and just simply rock forward and back, just stretching out through the bottom of the foot. And then come back so that the shoulders are stacked over your wrists, and inhale the left leg to hip height. Don't go any higher, because if you go higher, you start to arch in the lumbar spine. We want to keep one straight line from the crown of your head to that left heel. And you're pushing that left heel to the wall, and you're thinking about keeping the wrinkles out of the back of your neck. And then if you want to make this more difficult, you can reach that right arm forward. Make sure to rotate that thumb to point up. And just breathe here. Again, to make it easier, just put the hand down or put the foot down, whatever you need to do. If you want to make it harder, you can lift that right toe off the floor and just see how that makes you unstable. And you'll feel your transverse abdominis. Those are the muscles that wrap horizontally around your torso. You're going to feel them kicking in to help steady the pelvis. And then you can release all fours to the floor and take a cat-cow here, just to release your spine. And then coming back to that tabletop, right leg. So extend the right leg behind you and again, rock forward and back. I don't know about you, but I feel that in my Achilles tendon and my calf. And it's not even sandal season yet, but it's coming. All right. And then come back, stack your shoulders over your wrists. Float the right leg up again, just to hip height, keeping heel aligned with the crown of your head. Make it harder if you want by reaching that left arm out in front of you, thumb rotated up. And that'll just keep that shoulder blade tucked in. All right, and you want your neck nice and long, no wrinkles in the back of that neck. And then to make it easier, of course, you can always put the hand or the leg down. And if you want to make it harder, you can lift that left toe off the floor and just notice where you start to feel that. Keep the breath steady, breathe in, breathe out. And then you can replace all fours down. One more cat-cow, just to release any tension that you've built up. And then you could keep your toes curled here, sit back, reach the hands out in front of you, and lower your head between your arms. This is called puppy pose because it's halfway between child's pose and downward dog. If you're more comfortable, uncurl the toes and sit your hips all the way back down on your heels. Maybe the forehead touches the floor. Child's pose or balasana is a wonderful resting spot. Feel free to come here whenever you desire and then join us when you're ready. Go ahead and tuck those toes under if they're not already. Lift the knees, downward facing dog. And you can pedal your heels here. Let the hips shift side to side. Good. And then leave both heels down. Bend the knees a little bit. Shift the hips up higher and let that head come through between your hands. And then looking forward between your hands, you can hop or walk your feet one step at a time, coming to the top of your mat. Walk your hands up your legs. Inhale, flat back. I'm wearing this silly cowl neck shirt today. I'm going to tuck it in so it doesn't get in the way. And then exhale, forward fold, nose to knees. Think of this as a standing cat-cow. So inhale, walk your fingers up. There's the extension of the spine, right? You want to pull those shoulder blades back behind you and gaze forward. Still no wrinkles in the back of your neck, but you're gazing forward as your heart is gazing forward. And then as you exhale, pull your belly button in, roll yourself over those legs and draw nose to your knees. So that's a little bit more like cat pose. The exhalation allows you to deepen, to ground, to contract. And then bend your knees a lot, roll your way all the way up coming to standing pose. Circle the shoulders forward, up, back, and down. So Tadasana, mountain pose, has our feet hip width apart. You can lift the toes, spread them out, lay them back down. Think of activating, I always do the hand motion, activate your arches like little suction cups. Yeah, and you can lift your kneecaps up, engaging the quadriceps, your thighs. And then if you like, use Mula Bandha or root lock. So that's simply stopping the flow of urine. Make sure it's not a clenching of the buttocks. You want to relax the buttocks, but use the perineum, that pubococcygeal muscle that runs from your tailbone to your pubic bone. Yeah, good. Inhale the arms up, gaze up. And then exhale, prayer through heart center as we hinge forward, forward fold. Bend your knees, chin tucked, roll back up, and circle those shoulders up, back, and behind you. Repeat. Inhale, palms together. Exhale, forward fold. Bend the knees, roll it up. Like we're giving our spine a massage. And one more. Inhale. Exhale. We'll stay here. Walk hands halfway up, flat back. And exhale to fold. Stepping the right leg back. Feel free to put the knee on the floor. High lunge, Anjaneyasana. Other modifications include elbows wide to help you balance. And then exhale, downward facing dog. So we're starting the first sun salutation, and it's really a modified sun salutation just to warm up. Rise up to your tippy toes, inhale to plank, lower knees, chin, and chest. We're exhaling everything out. As you inhale, onto your belly, hands beneath shoulders, baby cobra. Notice elbows bend and they're tucked right into your rib cage. Exhale, release your forehead or chin to the mat. Bend your knees. You can come through child's pose and even stay for a moment. Curl toes, lift knees, down dog. Beautiful. Lift that right leg up. So I want you to keep your hips square. So the right foot is flexed and the right toes point down, just like in that spinal balance. And then bend your knee, exhale, bring those shoulders over your wrists and hug the knee to your chest. As you inhale, the right leg goes up. This time, exhale, bring that right knee outside the right elbow. Notice shoulders over wrists, and then inhale straight up. One leg dog. And one more time, exhale, bring the right knee to your left elbow, shoulders over wrists, and then inhale the right leg up. Exhale, bring your knee forward and quietly step the right foot between your hands. If you need help, you can always use that right hand to help you. Remember, you can always put the left knee on the floor now. Inhale the right arm up for a twist. Be gentle here, tuck your chin, rotate your gaze up toward that right thumb. And then exhale to step the left foot forward. Walk yourself halfway up. And this time, reverse swan dive, opening those arms wide, palms touch. Exhale, centering breath at your heart. Raise that prayer up. And you could either fold through heart center or big swan dive. It's always up to you. If you're swan diving, take up lots of space. Inhale, flat back. Extend the spine. Exhale, forward fold. Pull the belly button in. Left leg steps back. Inhale, high lunge, Anjaneyasana. Use your modifications, possibly knee down or elbows wide. And then exhale, downward facing dog. Another modified vinyasa. Inhale, tippy toes to plank. Knees, chin, and chest as you exhale. Baby cobra as you inhale. Exhale, child's pose. Downward facing dog. Lift the left leg up, but keep hips square. And you'll know they're square if you're flexing the left foot and you look under and you can see the toes pointing straight down, just like in spinal balance. As you exhale, draw the left knee in and move your shoulders over those wrists. Hug that knee in. Inhale, one-legged dog. Exhale, left knee to left elbow, shoulders over wrists. Inhale, one-leg dog. Exhale, left knee, right elbow, shoulders over wrists. And then inhale, one-leg dog. This time, exhale the knee to center and step that foot between your hands. Right knee could go down. Extend left arm up. Inhale for a twist. You're tucking your chin and gazing up toward that left thumb. Exhale, right foot forward, forward fold. Coming halfway up, inhale and reverse swan dive. Exhale, centering breath at your heart. We all warmed up, moving forward. So bring those feet together. When I bring my feet together, in order to keep them parallel, if I were to bring my heels together, I kind of turn my toes out. So instead, I leave a little space, you could see it, between my heels, as if I had a line painted down the middle of my feet. That line would be parallel. Bend your knees, circle arms by ears, Utkatasana, awkward chair pose. Take a big inhale here. And as you exhale, pour yourself over your legs, Uttanasana. Inhale, flat back or half forward fold, Ardha Uttanasana. And as you exhale, your journey here, if you'd like to jump, bend your knees, bend your elbows, look forward, and land those feet behind you. If that doesn't work, it's perfectly fine. Step your right, step your left, even go to downward dog if you'd like that transition, and then come through vinyasa. Our vinyasa here, chaturanga, straight legs. Keep lifting those kneecaps up, gaze slightly forward. Don't let the head drop. And then as you inhale, onto the tops of your feet, elbows straight, eyes of the elbows pointing forward, gaze lifted. Knees are off the floor. Yeah, you can modify it by putting the knees down, but make sure your pelvis is off the floor for upward facing dog. Exhale, flip the toes, find your downward facing dog. Right leg up. And this time you can open the hip, down dog split. Some of you might even have a bend in the right knee. Just make sure the right knee is higher than the right toe. Exhale the right foot forward, left heel down, warrior one. As you exhale, step back to plank, your vinyasa, chaturanga, urdhva mukha svanasana, adho mukha svanasana. Remember, you can replace that vinyasa with the modified one or none at all. You can skip it and meet us in downward dog. That's where we're going. Left leg up, open the hip, stack hip over hip, down dog split. Maybe bend the knee. As you exhale, left foot forward, right heel down, warrior one. Breathing in through the nose, breathing out through the nose. Exhale, downward facing dog. Oh, no, it's not. Exhale to your chaturanga. So it's plank, chaturanga, urdhva mukha svanasana, and downward facing dog. So again, I guess in my mind, I was ready to go right to downward dog, which you can always do. In this downward dog, it's 3 to 5 breaths, taking your time, mouth is closed, eyes are open. You could be resting in child's pose. And then to come out, bend your knees, look forward. Always option to walk your right foot, then your left foot, or even baby steps, or quietly hop forward. Inhale, flat back, extend that spine, and then exhale, nose to knees, Uttanasana, forward fold. Awkward chair pose, inhale. Tadasana, exhale. Inhale, Utkatasana. Exhale, Uttanasana. Inhale, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, Vinyasa. You can step left, you can step right. Right leg up, down dog split. Warrior one, right foot forward. Vinyasa of your choice. And downward facing dog. Adho Mukha Svanasana. Left leg, down dog split. Left foot forward. Warrior one. Vinyasa of your choice. Adho Mukha Svanasana. 5 breaths. Bend your knees. You could step left, right, walk, hop. Inhale, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, forward fold. Utkatasana, awkward chair. Tadasana, mountain pose. One more time. Chair pose. Forward fold. Prepare. Vinyasa. Down dog. Right leg up. Warrior one. Vinyasa. Downward dog. Left leg up. Warrior one. Vinyasa. Downward dog. 5 breaths. From here, tippy toes, come forward to a plank. So we're going to do a side plank here, and I'll show lots of modifications. You could simply roll onto the outer edge of the left foot and stack the right foot on top or right in front. If this is more than you're bargaining for, left leg can come down for a modified plank. Okay, always an option. Remember to play in a place that's comfortable. Maybe there's a little bit of an edge, but it allows you to maintain that pose for maybe 5 breaths. And then you can come back to center. If you want it, there's a vinyasa. Coming back to plank, this time shifting over to the outer edge of the right foot. Maybe you stack feet on top. Maybe that left foot is in front of the right. Maybe you've placed that right knee on the floor to modify. Any variation is perfectly acceptable. Remember to keep your feet flexed if the legs are straight. And then you can come back to your plank. Maybe there's a vinyasa or not. And downward dog. So a little bit of a change. We're going to lift that right leg up and then bend the knee and bring the right foot to the left side, swiveling on to the outer edges of both feet, fallen star. So both legs are straight, both feet are flexed, right foot is forward, left leg is straight in line with the body. And then you can exhale, come back and lift that right leg up, bend the knee. And for some of you, you could switch to that outer edge of the left foot and flip your dog. It's an option. Can we try that again? So bring that right knee forward and reach it over to that left side, fallen star. And then hand comes down, bend the knee, send that leg up, and maybe flip that dog. And of course, if you wanted to here, you could flip all the way for full wheel. I am not doing that today. And then to come out of it, step the right foot forward. Yeah, lower the left knee, relax the toe and lift that right arm up. And there's an option here if you want to bind, bend the left knee, reach your right hand to the outer edge of the left foot. So your thumb points up. So if we do it the other way, we're kind of rolling that shoulder down. I want to roll the shoulder back. So there's that twist. Notice that my left thigh is on an angle, right? I'm not on top of that knee. Very important here. And then you can release. You can drag that left knee forward and come to sit through half Maharishi pose. Bring that right knee up. If you notice, I'm wearing dark pants today, so you can't see it. But if you notice that there's air under that right buttock, you can't glue it down. The safest thing to do here is to extend the left leg straight. And there's no discount for doing that, right? It's going to help you to twist safely. So whichever way you choose, wrap that left arm around, knee to crook of elbow, right hand comes behind you. And the other variations here, it's really up to you. I like this because hugging that knee into the crook of your elbow means that you're stretching this right outer hip. It's really medial glute and tensor fascia latae. If you want, though, you could take that elbow beyond the knee and use it to lever yourself further around. And there's also a bind here. If you're familiar, go ahead. And for those of us who have our left leg straight, make sure those toes are flexed so that that left thigh is active and you're pressing the back of the leg down to the mat. Use the inhalation to elongate your spine. Use the exhalation to pull the belly button in and deepen the pose. Lovely. And then we'll come around. If the leg is straight, bend it. We're going to place that right foot on the floor. And Ani, I did this last night. Walk your fingers forward to the front edge of your mat and float the leg up. So you're in a supported warrior three. Keep the hips level. If you have a block handy, you can turn this into half moon. So stacking left hip over right and left shoulder over right. And for anybody who wants a variation here, right? Remember, you can be staying here. You could have 2 blocks, one under each hand, or switch the block to your left hand, raise that right arm up. This is twisting half moon or rotated half moon, Uttita Ardha Chandrasana, revolved half moon. And then one more thing we can do here, if you prefer, come back to that original Ardha and add a bind. So we just stretched the back of that the front of that left leg. So if you want, you can do a dancer on the moon. And that's not an official name for the pose. I've just made that up. And then you can release, step the left foot down, forward fold, shake your head no, shake your head yes. You could inhale, flat back, and exhale, forward fold, and then find your way back, either through a vinyasa or just downward facing dog. Okay, we're going to do that on the other side. So send the left leg up and bring that left knee over to that right elbow, but then extend that left leg straight, rotating onto the inside of that right leg, fallen star. Breathe here. You can modify this by bending that left knee, totally fine. Remember that side plank we did originally? There it is. Good. And then come out of that, sending that left leg up to the sky, and maybe you're going to flip your dog. So if you're flipping your dog, I just want to point out your right leg is straight, like Vashisthasana, side plank. And that left leg is like a tabletop. Lift those hips up. Coming out of it, hands come down. Bring that left leg to the right. Fallen star again. Maybe I should have done it in this direction first. It might have been easier for you to see. Sorry. You can rewind. And then one more time, lift that leg up and maybe flip the dog. And for those of you who can take this to full wheel, go for it. And then we'll come back, but this time, step the left foot forward, lower the right knee, relax the toes. We'll twist, left arm up, and maybe you'll do that bind. So again, if you know that you're going to do that dancer on the moon, this is a great preparatory. And just notice the right thigh is on a diagonal. I'm not right up on top of that kneecap. I'm above it. You can release that, slide the right knee to the outside of the left foot and come to sit through. Lift that left knee up. Now go ahead, if that left hip won't sit down, much more effective to twist on a straight spine than a curved spine. So if you like, extend your right leg long. There's no discount here. Wrap that right arm around, crook of the elbow, you're making sure that knee is pointing up, and then the left hand comes behind you. Again, you have that option of binding. So one way is to take that right elbow to the outside of the left knee and use that elbow to lever yourself into a deeper twist, or take the bind. Use the inhalation to elongate your spine. Use the exhalation to pull the belly button in and have that twist, moving that left shoulder back behind you. And then coming back to center. If the right leg is straight, you're going to bend it and then stepping onto that left foot. Maybe you'll have your blocks out in front and ready. And you can float that right leg up for supported warrior 3. You could stay here or turn this into Ardha Chandrasana. So rotating the right toes toward the computer, raising that right arm up. Do you know that this is my favorite pose? And sometimes Ardha Chandrasana is called all limb pose. And I imagine that my limbs are like the rays of the sun, exploding from the sun in my center. And your center, that chakra, Manipura, is the color yellow. So just imagine the gold brightness of the sun in your belly, all that energy exploding forward. And then if you want, a variation is Utthita. Whoop. You can fall out of it too, use a prop. So we're in that supported warrior 3, but we've shifted. We make sure there's a block under the right hand and the left arm reaches up for that twist. Again, anything here that's not for you, just modify, change it up. And then coming back to Ardha if you wanted it, with a bind. So you can bend that right knee, reach for the foot, pull the foot away like an archer, right? You're creating that dynamic tension. Dancer on the moon. And then release it, right foot down, forward fold, shake your head no. You can bend one knee and then the other. Nice. And then come on up to your tippy toes and come to sit on your heels. You do not need to stay here if this isn't okay for you. It's like a little balancing chair, so to speak. And then release and support yourself. Next time, maybe we'll do side crow. We were almost there. Bring the soles of the feet together in Baddha Konasana, bound angle pose. And again, opportunity to grab your asana, move those buttocks behind you. Feel that connection of your sit bones to the mat and inhale up nice and long. Exhale, hinge forward. So I don't hinge very far here. This is probably it. And the rest of it, I can pull my belly button in and round over. And again, there's a block here. If I wanted, I could place the block on my feet and let's see this way and rest my forehead. Whatever feels good to you. This is really a nice restorative pose. It's not supposed to be painful or injure you in any way. So just make it work for you. And then use your hands, place them under your shoulders to lift yourself up. We'll come to a boat pose. So we were talking about lumbar spine a little bit. The most important thing in our boat pose, and I don't know if you could see it because of the colors I'm wearing and the microphone, but what we don't want in boat pose is to round the spine. But this is not boat pose. This is boat pose. So we want to stick our chests out, extend the spine nice and long. And for starters, the hands are under your thighs and you can extend your arms long. See how far you can lean back, right? This to me kicks in those transverse abdominis muscles. I think of them as like our natural girdle, right? It's like pulling in the sides of your waist when you're trying to button that too tight pair of pants. I just did a closet purge and I had several of those moments as I tried on all the clothes in my closet. Right. From here, if you wanted to make this harder, you could always balance and bring those shins up so they're parallel with the floor. Again, if this makes your back round, then go back a step. Yeah. stick the chest out. And then the next option might be release your hands. If you start shaking, that's a pure signal to go back an inch. And then, of course, you could always straighten the legs here. Again, imagining that my hand is behind your heart, lifting you up. Do what's right for you. And then we'll exhale and rock back, Baddha Konasana, with or without that block. We'll do a second round of Navasana, and maybe you can use your block to help. When we, hands under shoulders, lift up, when we do Navasana, boat pose, we're actually using our inner thighs as part of the deep core musculature. So putting a block between your knees, of course, it's gray. It's the same color as my pants. So maybe you can't see it, but we'll start the same way. Feet flat on the floor, chest lifted, shoulders back, lean back. If this is good, stay right here. See if you can get to 10 breaths or maybe longer. The next step, maybe floating the feet. The next step, maybe releasing those arms. Keeping the wrinkles out of the back of your neck, keeping that length in your spine, that extension. No flexion in the spine, please. Wherever you are, see if you can hold for 5 more breaths. Remember, you're squeezing those inner thighs together. When you're ready to come out of it, feet down, block away, Baddha Konasana. So we'll go from here to pigeon pose, and you've got options. You can always do supine pigeon, that's on your back, Kapotasana on your back. If you're going to do that, and I won't demonstrate it just because of the microphone, but you can cross that right ankle over the left thigh and make sure you're flexing that foot. And then you'll pull that leg in. For the rest of us, start in Baddha Konasana. Your knee is pointing, your right knee is pointing off of the mat. You want to leave that leg there and extend your left leg behind you and check behind you. You want to make sure that left leg is within the boundaries of your mat. You can curl the toes, lift the knee, and walk the knee back an inch or two, and that's going to help you. You can always use a block. It's like a little wedge reminder. Notice I'm not just like sitting on the block. I'm just using it there as a reminder, and that's going to keep my hips level, my pelvis level. You can walk up onto your fingertips. Inhale, it's a lovely back bend. And then exhale your way first to your elbows, maybe stacking fists, forehead back on those fists. If you can go deeper than this, open the elbows wide, flat hands, forehead back of hands. And there's also full prostration. Hands away, tuck your chin, forehead or chin on the floor. Now there is a twist here. If you wanted it, you would take your left hand, knuckles down, slide the hand through, rest on the shoulder, temple down, and then this right arm, palm away, can reach behind you and grab that right big toe. Maybe. So again, not necessary, right? You can be wherever you are here and just enjoy. We have another 5 breaths. So come out of the pose, walk your hands under your shoulders, and we're going to take that back bend again with a variation if you want it. Bend that left knee, reach around to the inside of that foot, right? We were here before, so you can stay here, swiveling your gaze to the back. If you want a bind, you can bring that left toe to the crook of the left elbow, and then right arm up, bend the elbow, interlace the fingers, Gomukhasana hands. So maybe that's accessible. If it's not, don't worry about it, right? You can be here, you can be here, whatever you need. And then come out of that pose. If the block is there, just move it. Sit off to that right hip, sweep that left leg around and reestablish your Baddha Konasana. And just as a test, bow forward, see if you can notice a difference in the tightness of those two hips. So for me, I can absolutely notice that right hip just feels a little bit softer, more pliable. And then we'll do the other side. So again, if you're doing it on your back, the left ankle over that right thigh, it's flexed. You're going to lay back and you're going to hug those knees in. Not doing it because of the microphone. So for the rest of us, left knee is jutting off your mat. And I'm making the assumption you don't have this round mat, of course. Lean to the left, right leg behind, and just make sure the leg's not like off the mat. You want to bring it around so it's in line with the edge of the mat. And you can tuck the toes and walk that knee back behind you. First, come on up to your fingertips. And there's that back bend. Beautiful. No wrinkles in the back of your neck. And then exhale. Oh, and remember, you can always use this block under that left hip if you need it. You can first walk your way down to your elbows, stack fists, forehead on fists. And go deeper, spreading those elbows wide, flat hands, forehead back of hands, or full prostration, walk those palms away, forehead or chin on the mat. And for those of you who wanted that twist, you can take the right fingers, knuckles down, slide through until your right shoulder and temple touch the floor. That left hand faces away, and we reach for the left big toe. Can you see it? I've just got my fingers hooked around that left big toe. And that's an option if you felt like you wanted this other element. To come out of the pose, hands under shoulders, walk your way back up. If you're on your back doing that supine pigeon, turn this into a bridge. So both feet flat on the floor, lift your hips up so that you also are experiencing the back bend. For the rest of us, you can stay here or bend the right knee, reach the right hand to the inside of that right foot. And if you feel like you can go further, go ahead and bring the right toes to the crook of that right elbow. Lift your left arm up and create the Gomukhasana, hands on this side. Just notice my thumb points up here if you're holding on in order to keep that shoulder rotated back and behind me. And that gives me a nice chest stretch, opening through the collarbones. And then to come out of the pose, anyone who's on their back, we're joining you there in a moment. So please stay there. Release, sit back on your left hip, swing that right foot around. And I want you to test out that Baddha Konasana. Inhale and exhale forward and tell me, can you feel the softness now equal, right? Balanced in both hips? I sure hope so. From here, we'll have Shavasana. So walk your hands under your shoulders, bring your knees together, and then controlled rolling back down onto your back. I'll remain seated for your meditation. And we'll be here in meditation about 5 minutes. So feel free to turn this off and continue with a Shavasana as long as you desire. For the rest of us, If you feel your lower back or you hear your lower back talking to you, you can keep your knees bent in Shavasana. Just turn the toes in and tent the knees. So heels are wide apart. And this will help take some of the pressure off your lumbar spine. For the rest of us, just extend the legs into a comfortable V, knees and toes splaying out to either side. And then circle those shoulders behind you. You're going to tuck those shoulder blades in and allow your arms to splay about 45 degrees from your body, palms face up. Right? Go ahead and close your eyes. Lips are closed, and you're breathing very naturally, without effort, in through the nose and out through the nose. Feel free to use a mantra, a mind vehicle. And this can be in English, such as in as you breathe in, out as you exhale. You could use rising, falling, or if you prefer Sanskrit, my favorite, so hum. And the Sanskrit words are I am that, which to me conveys this connectedness of me to the universe, of me to my body, of me to every other atom out there. As many times as you forget and your mind wanders, which it is apt to do, gently, with ahimsa, with loving kindness, bring your attention back to the mantra as many times as it takes, without judgment. In, out, rising, falling. So hum. In, out, rising, falling. So hum. If you're ready to come out of Shavasana, begin by deepening your breath, inhaling so the belly rises, exhaling so the belly falls. 3 big breaths like that. You can begin to wiggle your fingers and wiggle your toes. Maybe make a fist out of your hands and splay your fingers out wide and repeat. Maybe pointing your toes and flexing your heels and repeat. Circling your hands at the wrists, circling your feet at the ankles, reversing the direction. And then carefully bending your knees, walking your feet to the mat. Bring your feet to the outer edges of your mat and windshield wipe those knees side to side. Drop the knees over to one side, roll to that side in a side lying child's pose. Resting for a moment. And then using your hands to press yourself up to easy seated pose, Sukhasana. We'll finish our yoga practice with Namaste, Sanskrit for the light and the love in me recognize and bows to the love and the light in each of you. Let's say together, Namaste. Thank you so much for your yoga practice. Please be sure to check out the other videos that I've recorded for you. Can't wait to see you again.